Hi guys, this is Vanngo. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a very special guest here. One of my dear friend, Harry Josh, he's here.
Howdy. Well, thank you guys. I'm very excited to be here, Hung. I know we've been talking about this literally since he started the YouTube channel. I keep saying I don't need to be on your channel because you're an amazing makeup artist, but he thought that maybe people wouldn't mind learning a little bit of hair too. So hopefully today I'm going to give you guys some pretty basic hairstyles that I think are often imitated but never quite done correctly. So hopefully some of my tips and tricks will be helpful. I hope you watch both the videos. Make sure you subscribe and like this channel. Make sure to give all three of us a follow on Instagram. And if you like content like this, let them know because maybe we'll do some more.
Thank you both, Harry and Jenna, for coming on the channel.
And actually, I will say this is actually super cool for the three of us because we worked on a beauty shoot 10 years ago together. And that time, yeah, with Jenna, and we did an amazing picture. So you're gonna have to go to both of our Instagrams to find out what that picture was. But it was awesome, and we're happy to have a reunion with our beautiful Jenna today. So I hope you like the videos.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna teach everyone at home how to do effortless, model off-duty waves with one tool, one brush, and some easy steps. The first thing I like to do is just detangle the hair. So we're working on dry hair, so probably you've woken up and your hair might have a few knots. Just start working it from the top all the way down. Now, regardless of how much hair you have, it's really important to detangle the hair and make sure you get it everywhere from the root right down to the end. I'm gonna work on the other side of the head. And here we go, getting it all out. She does have a lot, so it's really important to get everything tangle free. And that way, you know you've done it correctly. All right guys, so the next step is sectioning. Now a lot of people don't realize that sectioning is crucial for getting any look, whether you're gonna blow dry the hair, use a curling iron, a flat iron, even sections are very important. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm just gonna use a brush and kind of get a bit of a natural parting here on her, right? And then we're gonna create 4 sections. What I like to do is go from ear to ear, and then from the center of the forehead all the way to the nape. And that creates what I like to call like a pie of 4 slices. So let's begin. Here is my first quarter of my pie. Just twisting this hair up. And we're gonna go to this side, mirroring the exact same thing we did on the other side. Twist, 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 and then clip up. And then we're gonna go to the back of the head, which at home, if you're doing it, you would just center the head with your nails or a brush, whatever is easier for you. Take this, twist this up, and take this side and twist that up, which I'll be doing right now. All right, now we're ready to begin. When it comes to waving the hair, I always use the hardest sections first. Why? Because I think for anyone at home who's tried to curl their hair using an iron, flat iron, or even a blow dryer, they know how difficult and exhausting it gets. So they do a great job in the front, and then by the time you get to the back, they're over it. So let's try to reverse that this time so that by the time you get to the front, you're inspired. Okay, so we're gonna start in the back of the head here. So a lot of times when people are doing sectioning, the size of the section is really important. Now Jenna has really curly hair, which I know will hold a curl easier. So if you're at home and you've got fine hair and you're watching this video going, I have fine straight hair, will this work for me? It will. The only difference you're gonna have to do is add a bodybuilding product, whether it be a volumizer, a mousse, even hairspray on dry hair can work wonders. Back to the wave. Here we have the back section. I've taken about an inch, a square inch of hair, and I'm going to lift and separate this into 2 pieces, all right? Now, when doing this section, you are going to wrap the base of the iron at the base of the hair. And on this side of the hair, you're going to tightly pull and wrap around the wand so that the tip of the hair is at the front of the iron. Now, if you see any smoking in the hair, this is basically conditioner left in. We have a little bit of a leave-in in there, so nothing to panic about. Hold it for about 4 seconds and pull it out. And as you can see, we've already created a lot smoother of effect. There's less frizz and it has a nice open wave to it. Again, we're gonna do a second piece. doing exactly what we did in the first piece. Curling iron at the base, wrap the hair, pull it tight as you're doing it, because the tighter you pull it, the less frizz you're going to get. After about 4 seconds, you can release it, and there you have it. We're going to follow this step all the way up to the top of the crown, and then when we get to the other side, there's another trick. All right, so I'm finishing up my very last piece, and as you can see, I have not changed the direction of how we started at the bottom, even though I've gotten all the way to the top. This is really important because when you go to the other side of your hair, you're actually going to wave it the other direction. And when you wave it the other direction, you will end up with a perfect balance of hair that goes out like this, or down like this, but evenly. All right, let's move over. So on this side of the hair, we're going to repeat what we did section-wise. So only 1 square inch of hair. Now remember, at home, if you've been doing this already and you've been watching this video and you've seen it being styled and you did the hairspray trick on your fine hair and maybe your iron's not holding as much as you want it to, do another coat of hairspray just so it gets a little starchier and you'll have a little more success. Back to the wave. We're going to divide this first 1 square inch section into 2 pieces. Now this time we are going to put the base of the iron at the back of the head and we're going to twist the hair away from the face. So this is the opposite of what we did on the other side. And what you'll find is this will create a great mirror effect to balance out both sides. Again, you want to hold it for about 4 seconds. And you're going to drop. All right. Now, depending on the iron you're using and the heat you're using, the 4 seconds will really determine whether or not that's enough of a hold for you. Now, Jenna has curly hair, like I said earlier, so her hair is going to hold a curl very easily. Ideally, when working with a curling iron, you want to make sure you're using an iron that has great temperature, even distribution, and also a full size. As you can see, I'm working with a cordless iron right now, and a lot of the cordless irons that are out there right now aren't full size. So when you're trying to wave a lot of hair or maybe long hair, it doesn't wrap around the wand as much as you'd like it to. So luckily for me, I'm working with an iron that's full size, and by full size I mean this. So a lot of them are shorter. So when you have hair this long, it's crucial that you're working with something that is a full size iron. So as you can see, we've done our second piece, and we're just going to go through the sections one by one, repeating the same motion we did, but this time wrapping in reverse. All right, so as I'm completing my one section here, I'm almost done, as you can see. One of the things I wanted to talk about was also the size. A lot of people ask me questions like, well, what size iron is the right size for my hair? Because I have some girls who will say to me, my curls always fall out, or perhaps my curls are too big and they don't stay. So determining what size iron is going to be really important for you to get the end result you want. Now, I have decided to use a 1-inch iron here. And the reason why I picked a 1-inch iron, if you could just get a little close up of that, so basically this iron is the perfect size because I can use a large section of hair to create a bigger wave. And if hair doesn't hold so well, you can use this and create what in the mirror you might be like, this looks a little tight, but you know your hair is going to drop. So if you want a larger wave, sometimes going down one size into a smaller size is going to give you the bigger wave you're looking for because it will drop and fall into that. And if you've got hair like Jenna that can hold a curl really well, 1 inch is also going to be great. So this is always your best rule of thumb. If you're looking for a curl that always seems to drop on you, go down a size. If you've got hair that always holds a curl and gives you exactly what you want, stick with the size of the iron you want. So I'm going to carry on. I only have one little piece up here. And one of the things I wanted to take notice of as we're getting this all done is if everyone could see the texture change. We're working with no product really at the end of the day, and also just seeing how much of the frizz that people normally have in their hair can be removed with just by using heat and not actually having to jump in the shower and start from scratch. So using a heat tool can really change the texture of your hair and also the shine factor. Oops. Sorry about that clip dropping there, but as you can see, I'm getting some great results. We're about to move to the front, which is what I like to call the money shot. So now we've done all the difficult spots. of the head, which are always going to be trickier because you can't really see the back of your head. But I hope these few tips and tricks that I gave you will really benefit you trying to recreate this yourself, or maybe doing a friend. That's always a great way to learn. I always say if you've got two friends who want a similar texture, if you do each other's hair, what ends up happening is you become the hairdresser. So when you become the hairdresser, you stand behind your friend, and as you do it, you become like you build a muscle memory. And then when you do it on your own hair, you kind of remember exactly what side does what. All right, so we're time to move to the front. I'm gonna move back to this side of the camera, and we're gonna carry on doing exactly what we did in the back, but now moving it into the front. All right, so we're starting our first section in the front. This time, I'm gonna do straight across here, clip that out of the way, and this is the texture we're gonna start to change. I'm gonna again take my little square-inch section. Oh, what I'm realizing here is my cordless battery is dying on my curling iron. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna just pop out this battery. As you can see, popping it out, because I have a battery charger station here, so I can just switch out the battery while we're talking. And as I switch this out, what's really good for people to know is if you are someone who's going to spend or has a lot of hair and spends a long time doing their hair, whenever you're working with rechargeable batteries or sometimes the plugins, it's not always great if you don't have never-ending power. So never-ending power means that as your one battery dies, you can do what I'm doing right now, which is just popping it out, putting the new one in, and then, thank you, putting the new one in and then getting ready to begin exactly where you left off. A lot of the cordless tools that are out there right now are actually plugged in like an iPhone, so you actually need a cord in order for it to be charged so that you have to wait. So it's not really so convenient when you're doing a look and all of a sudden you're like, I need to charge this for 20 minutes or 30 minutes to get my full charge. So back to hair. Coming to curling the hair, we're gonna hold up the section and we're gonna remember what we did in the back, and I'll refresh everyone in case they're just jumping in now. We're gonna wrap this section right at the base, and we're gonna twist the hair around the iron towards the front of the head. I'm gonna hold that for about 4 to 5 seconds. And again, I spoke about this earlier, but depending on how your hair holds a curl will determine how long you're going to keep the iron on. Take it out, and you will see a nice tight shape that has no frizz. We're gonna follow that up with the same one here. And tension is really important too. The more you pull on your hair as you do it, the smoother it will become. And the more lax you are with the tension of the hair, the frizzier it will remain. So when it comes to kind of frizz and AKA texture, I like to put that in myself at the end and let the iron do all the work. All right, we're gonna carry this on all the way to the center part. So I thought it was important for everyone at home to know that as the hair is different lengths, the texture of the hair will hold a curl differently. So as this section is finer and it's shorter than maybe this was here, this is going to hold a curl much tighter than hair that was twice its length. Now, it won't matter at the end because the look we're going for is something kind of effortless, easy, and bedheady. So once we get all the curls in place, we're gonna take a look at it and I'm gonna show everyone how to fine tune all that hair to give it that effortless, lived-in look. You know, a lot of these things that I've been using, if for whatever reason, if you kind of missed what I was using or where you can get them, they're in the description box, which you might not be able to see on your phone. But if you go to the channel itself, it'll all be in there. So all that information is crucial in case you are wondering exactly what was used and how to try to attempt to do this look yourself. All right, so we're on our final and last section. Now, nothing new here. We're gonna exactly repeat what we did already. So just a refresher for everyone, we are going to take a 1-inch section and turn that in half to a 1 square-inch section. We are going to tug the hair, and this time we're gonna wrap the base at the front of the head and twist the hair away from the face. Now I said this earlier, but this is really important for everyone at home because if you do it the exact same way on the same sides, you'll have a very odd, weird pattern that doesn't make sense. So one direction has to be one way and the other side has to be the other. So you can see we're able to get a really nice, beautiful, strong shape in. And I think the great thing about this is that you don't have to jump in the shower. we are working off of, I guess, dry, one-day dirty hair, which is great for that person on the go at home who wants to transform their hair, but maybe doesn't want to jump in the shower and start from scratch. With a little bit of education, a right tip or tool, you'll be able to transform your texture, your hair look, and everything without ever having to jump in the shower. So that's a great way for you to kind of reinvent the hairdo without having to start from scratch. All right, so I'm on my last section here, and we have now done our first round of using the iron. We've done the entire head. And why this is important is because I like to consider this a foundation for many other hairstyles. I know I spoke earlier that I'm going to be doing a second hairstyle, but the important thing for you guys to know about that is I'm going to work right off of something we've created. So for the person at home who maybe doesn't want to start from scratch each time, when you build out a good foundation, so like the first day, you don't feel like styling. She slept on her hair, she came into the studio the way it was. Second day, we curled it. The third day, we're going to create yet another look, although we're all going to be here in the studio doing this together, but just to give you the idea and illusion that you can do multiple looks over a period of days with a little bit of product and some tools. All right, so what I wanted to call out at this point, you can see the difference in texture. This is starting to relax, and this is still a bit curly, and this is normal. So as we start to work with the hair more and more, as I start to kind of pull on it, with my fingers, the curl will start to relax. This is still tight. I'm letting it cool off for a few more minutes, and then we're gonna shake the whole thing out, and we're gonna show you some more tricks. So we've curled all the hair. It's relaxed quite nicely, but we're still not quite done. There's a few finishing touches that take an ordinary wave to an extraordinary wave. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is brush out all your work. Do not panic. I know a lot of people watching the video will be like, oh my God, my curls are gonna fall out. If you put enough hairspray in and went down one size in your curling iron, your curls will not fall out. Do not fear. So I feel confident about what I've done here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and brush this out. And as you can see, her elasticity is still there. And as you brush it, you do get a nice kind of glamorous look, but that's not what we're going for. We are going for something a little rougher, but right now it's really to relax all the curls down to a point that it looks like her hair is just naturally looks like this, and she hasn't even seen me. That's the goal, all right? So we're just gonna keep brushing and brushing the hair. And as you brush, you're going to relax a lot of that curling iron work you put in there. And then, as we get to this point, we're gonna start to shake it out, all right? And this already, even if you're happy at this point, this gives you such a different look than what she started with. If you remember, she had very tight, curly hair that was quite voluminous and a little bit on the frizzy side. Now we have something a little more controlled, has a lot more shine, a lot more definition, and also has that kind of lived-in look. Now, if you look at the hair and there's anything you ever feel that needs a little bump or a little texture, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pick up our trusty curling iron again, and I'm gonna have to step a little bit in the front of the camera here for this. But what we can do is just start to detail the hair. So I'm gonna do this. By doing something like this, I am creating a nice framing face wave. By just holding it back like this, when I let go, you're gonna get a nice little shape right here, all right? So that's a nice shape, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the other side as well. Just gonna hold the iron like this. Now this is a little different, and this is what I like to call detailing. So these little things that we do will create not a difficult change, but enough that makes it look a little extra. So if you want to turn your head a little slightly sideways, you see what I'm talking about by having just that nice little shape in there. So then as the day goes on, and she starts to kind of have her moment, walk around, toss her hair around, she will have a really nice texture that looks very lived in and very nice. You can always finish this look with a bit of styling cream, a defrizzant, anything that works on your texture. But for me, I kind of like the way it's looking right now, which is kind of like sauvage and wild with a nice full head of hair. All right, well, to me, it looks like she hasn't seen a hairdresser, but she has a great head of hair, and that's always the goal. So stick around if you want to see my second look. I'm gonna take this existing look and transform it into one more look, and guess what? You don't even have to get your hair wet. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to this channel, and let Hung know if you want to see some more content just like this. Hey guys, so we're ready to do our second look. This is my second model off-duty look. And this look is going to be a lot more relaxed than the waves we have here. We're going to use a different tool and we're going to create a different texture once again with just building off of what we did here in the previous look. The first thing I'm going to do is section the hair. And if you want to know how to section the hair, just rewind back to our previous look and you will see the sectioning, but it's pretty basic, so I'm just going to start. So for this particular look, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of brush the hair a little bit and maybe change a bit of a parting. I'm not even sure. I'm going to see how it goes as I'm working to see what works. But the real magic here is going to happen from the flat iron I'm going to be using and the technique that I'll be showing you at home. Okay, so we're going to section it similarly to how we did it before, which was in all fours. This we are going to clip up. And we're going to do, oops, sorry about the clip. This is live TV. This is what happens. We're going to then section this up, same thing. And we're going to follow up with the last clip, which is over here. And I'm going to section that one up. So I left this section up for a reason, because this is the section I want to start with. If you remember me saying in the previous look that I did, it's really about starting with what I consider to be the most difficult sections of the hair, because it's always inspiring to do the sections in the front because you can kind of see every section, you can see what you're doing. And sometimes when you've done the whole front, you feel neglectful and you don't do the back as well as you should have. So by doing it this way, you struggle first and you end up with something that feels really great. So let's begin. I'm going to take my first section of hair, about 1 inch across, and I'm going to clip the existing hair up as well. For this particular look, we're just going to clip that into the existing clip. So I'm going to use my flat iron, if I could have my trusty flat iron. And what I'm using here today is going to be a cordless flat iron. Now what's great about the cordless flat iron that I have here is that it gives you a wireless technology to be able to move freely around, and you can actually kind of run around and do a few things in the house while you're flat ironing it. Now, of course, everyone knows how to use a flat iron. A lot of the times people will use just a brush and pull the hair straight, and that works fine. So as you can see, the plates are really hot. You can transform what you've already curled into a nice smooth piece. So you can just see it will transform literally into a smooth piece. But for us today, we're going to do this a little differently. We are going to just bend the hair, and we're really trying to making it almost messy, all right? So this is going to be great for you guys at home who are trying to do a different type of look. As you can see, I'm just kind of bending the hair a little bit because really what I want to get are these kind of kicks and flicks, as I call them, that aren't like a loopy curl. And just by me grabbing the iron, and while it's hot, I'm just kind of pressing it in one direction, I'm getting just kind of a haphazard, textured look that doesn't look completely polished, but has removed the curl that was in there. And now you've got kind of a straight hair with a couple of bends and kicks. As this starts to stack its way down, you're going to see the completed look. So the next thing I'm going to do is grab the next section of hair, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to grab a 1 inch square section, and I'm going to press the iron right into it, and I'm going to hold the hair like that. And I'm just going to pull it one direction. As it sits and gets hot, I'm going to pull it the other direction. All right? And what this is doing again is just creating texture. It's not going to be a curl, and it's not going to be stick straight. It's going to be something in the middle that looks truly like she just woke up and had a great head of hair. And just by doing this, and then often you can even pull. See how I'm pulling this? So the great thing about this look is that as you work through the texture, there's really no wrong or right way to do this. You can smooth, you can bend, and you can shape. So we're going to work through this whole section of hair, and when I get to the front, you'll have a better idea of what to expect. All right, instead of finishing the other side of the back, I thought I'd carry on and do the front. I was getting inspired as I was looking at her hair as it's kind of starting to shape up. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that when you use a flat iron, it doesn't always have to mean that your hair has to be specifically flat or sleek or straight, which of course this can do and will do. But what's kind of more interesting about an iron like this is that it creates bends and kicks that really don't allow the hair to feel straight or curly. It's always something in between. And often we are going for that look, something that's neither straight nor curly, but definitely has what I like to call just a nice texture. And often that is really difficult to achieve with a curling iron. So having an iron like this will allow us to get there a lot easier. What's great about this particular cordless iron is the battery life. The irons that I have here have never-ending batteries. Now what that means is that when this button beeps and it tells me the battery is running low, I can just slide this battery out and pop in the new one. At full heat, they run about 45-50 minutes, which is a lot longer than the current ones that are out there. And that's really important when it comes to styling, because often when you're styling your hair yourself, and let's say you're at the office or you are at the gym and you don't have everything and you just want to travel with your little cordless iron, you don't want to be out of power in the middle of styling your hair. So never-ending power is crucial when styling this kind of hair. And that's what I'm so excited about when it comes to this iron. It's given me that kind of never-ending power. And not only that, I have a full-size plate. So what I mean by that is a lot of irons that are out there that are cordless technology, this certainly isn't the first, have smaller plates, so you can't get as much coverage as I'm getting here. Okay, so there you have it. Don't be scared, just my finger, not a hot iron, lucky for that. But there you have it, half the side is done and you can already see the total transformation without having to wet it down. I am gonna bob over to this side and we're gonna do the exact same thing we did on that side. I'm gonna start in the back of the hair, take out my first section while we're together, 1 inch of square hair, clip that out of the way. I'm gonna pull this forward for everyone to see what we're gonna do. I'll refresh everyone to what you can do with this. You can either pull it smooth, like this, or you can start to bend and shape the hair any way you want to just create not even waves. You really just want bends and kicks that make it look like you have not actually styled your hair, but you just have naturally nice hair that looks effortless and beautiful. Now Jenna does have a lot of hair, so this look is great for someone with thick hair. Now if you have finer hair, yes, it is possible to achieve this look, but you're gonna take twice the size of sections. You can't take such small sections, you gotta take huge, kind of double, I would say, is ideal for someone with finer hair to achieve the same look. And if you have, let's say, processed or bleached hair, you may want to turn down the setting of the heat so that it's not as hard on the hair as you want it to be. So just taking it down even 50 degrees will still give you the look and protect that platinum or bleached hair you have to not completely get destroyed. Now she has no color in her hair and her hair is thick, so for me I'm going full heat, and as you can see I'm gliding right through the hair so effortlessly and getting a great finished result. We're going to carry on for the whole back of the head. So there you have it. The back panel is totally done, and it made me think of something. So if you've got fine hair and you've tried to do a look like this yourself, and you have realized that your iron is giving you creases on your hair, a great way to avoid that is to not press the plates so firmly together. So when you're doing it on finer hair, you kind of just gliding through the hair without really pressing it super flat. And another tip you can do for that is turn down the heat. When you turn down the heat, the plates don't have that option of leaving an indentation in the hair. And that is something I do see often on people. So that's a great little tip to have a better look and still be able to achieve this kind of effortless, I didn't do my hair look. All right, so we're into the last panel of the hair. We're gonna do the exact same thing as we've been doing the whole 3/4 way through. This is the last quarter of the head. I'm gonna take a square inch section. I'm going to do just one pass, smooth it out a little bit, and then from here, we will start to rock and roll. All right, and now we're gonna pick up the piece right in front, and we're gonna do the same thing. I'll actually maybe pick that up too. And we're gonna press it this way. press it this way. And you'll notice that as I'm doing this, there is no rhyme or reason. So sometimes I'm smoothing it like this, sometimes I'm pulling it straight, and sometimes I'm doing this kind of pattern. And what that will do for the person for the end result is it will prove that your hair was not styled, because there's nothing consistent about it other than it just looks great. So here we have the first two sections. I'm just going to follow it all the way to the top, and I'll meet you when we get there. Okay, so there we have it. I pretty much finished the look. Probably do it a little shaking and tossing, but again, being able to transform one texture to another texture without even actually having to jump in the shower and blow dry your hair and start from scratch. So it's really about having the right tools that can really help you navigate how it is that you want to look with effortless kind of textures that are easy to achieve. Another thing that I thought of, which is great about this look, is if you have fine hair and you're a viewer watching this saying, I'd love to have that hair, but my hair is fine, what's going to be great for you is you're actually, if you do this technique, you're going to have a little more volume. So typically when you use a flat iron on fine hair, it gets very flat and very fine. So having this little bit of texture will give your hair a little oomph, a little more volume, but will still look undone. So what's great about this is, to me, this is truly model off-duty hair that really gives you that texture that looks lived in, not styled. A lot of the girls you see in between shows walking around all have texture like this. So I hope you liked the video. Make sure to hit that like button and definitely subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much and hope to see you soon.